Subscribe and download over 1 million code snippet including this tutorial from codegive.com, link in the description below. The math.ceil function in Python is part of the math module and is used to return the smallest integer greater than or equal to a specified number. This function is particularly useful when you need to round up a floating point number to the nearest integer. Here, x is the number you want to round up to the nearest integer. The math.ceil function returns the smallest integer greater than or equal to x. Let's explore the math.ceil function with a simple example. Output. In example 1, the math.ceil function rounds up the floating point number 7.25 to the nearest integer, which is 8. In example 2, the function rounds up the negative floating point number -4.75 to the nearest integer, which is -4. Currency conversion. When dealing with currency conversion rates, you might need to round up the result to ensure that you have enough funds. Resource allocation. In scenarios where resources are allocated based on units, example servers, disk space, rounding up ensures that you have sufficient resources. Pagination. When implementing pagination in a web application, you might want to round up the total number of pages to ensure all items are displayed. Ceiling division. The math.ceil function is handy when you need to perform ceiling division, ensuring the result is always rounded up to the nearest integer. The math.ceil function in Python is a powerful tool when it comes to rounding up floating point numbers. It ensures that your calculations align with the desired behavior, especially in scenarios where rounding up is essential. Use it wisely to handle various mathematical and programming tasks effectively. ChatGPT. The math.ceil function in Python is part of the math module and is used to find the smallest integer greater than or equal to a given number. This function is particularly useful when you need to round up a decimal or floating point number to the nearest whole number. Let's dive into a practical example to see how the math.ceil function works. In this example, we import the math module and then use the math.ceil function to find the ceiling values of two different numbers, number 1 and number 2. The results will be: in the first example, math.ceil 5.2 returns 6 because 6 is the smallest integer greater than or equal to 5.2. In the second example, math.ceil -3.7 returns -3 because -3 is the smallest integer greater than or equal to -3.7. The math.ceil function is commonly used in situations where you need to ensure that a value is rounded up to the nearest integer. Some common use cases include calculating the number of units needed. If you have a situation where you need to buy a certain number of items, and the quantity must be a whole number, the math.ceil function can be useful. Pagination in web development. When implementing pagination on a website, you might need to calculate the total number of pages based on the number of items and items per page. Time calculations. When dealing with time or duration, rounding up to the nearest whole unit can be essential. For example, when converting hours to days, you might want to round up to the nearest whole day. The math.ceil function is a valuable tool in Python when you need to round up numbers to the nearest integer. By understanding its syntax and use cases, you can confidently apply it in various situations where precision is crucial. ChatGPT.